I'm still traumatized from an incident where my husband and I were in our backyard with his niece and nephew, and a pit bull attacked his niece. I managed to fend off the dog, but my husband ran away instead of helping. I'm going to start with this. I'm still a bit traumatized, and I will be finding someone to talk to. And a friend's made this account for me because I am not a frequenter. Don't know if the pit bull made it. I haven't asked. My husband and his niece and nephew and I were in our backyard. I am going to assume our gate was open. I can't remember. It, the pit bull, came out of nowhere and latched onto his niece, 5F. Niece screamed. I turned, kicked it with all the force I could manage. I was lucky enough to hit it in the jaw somewhere that made its jaw dislodge. My husband, who had been a few feet away, shouted something along the lines of "Whose dog this?" I told him to get our bear spray from the house. I was in a panic. I am an animal love, but it was so insane. The pit bull seemed almost rabid. I don't think it was in hindsight. It wasn't foaming at the mouth, it was just crazed. My husband ran, but not towards the house. He literally ran out the fence gate and shut it behind him, not towards his niece or nephew, who was also present in an outdoor bassinet that I managed to all but toss onto the picnic table to make sure it was out of the dog's reach, while holding his niece off my shoulder. I put her on the barbecue to keep her out of reach, but the dog was literally jumping and snapping, and I was worried that if I tried to carry her, I'm short, it would manage to grab her out of my hands. It chased me when I ran for the shove, but then I swung at it, and I swung until it stopped. I don't think I will ever forget the sound or feeling. It was so high stress, I didn't even realize that it had bit me twice. I haven't spoken to him for a full week, even though we live in the same house. I didn't ask where he went. He only came back a few minutes later to pack us into the car and drive us to the hospital. He's getting angry that I'm giving him the silent treatment, but I feel like it's his fault that I had to possibly end that animal. If he had gotten the bear spray, I literally keep it in my purse for if I am ever attacked by an animal or otherwise, then I don't think I would have needed to do what I did. It was literally just inside the door. He knows where I keep it. Instead, he literally took off to God knows where. Me and 2 children that I'm not even related to could have died. It might not even be relevant, but I don't even like kids. I am staunchly child-free, and he is the one that offered us up to babysit for the weekend. I don't know. Is this grounds for divorce? I'm not sure I can even look at him. Any attraction I had to him is pretty much gone. He tried to touch me yesterday, just to move me so he could pass, and I smacked his hand away without even thinking about it like he was some stranger at a bar, because it was literally jarring. He's just been skulking around trying to talk to me, then getting frustrated, then skulking more. I wasn't expecting him to be macho and fist fight the freaking dog, but at least follow instruction. At least not leave me in a life and death situation with a toddler and an infant. Should I be able to chalk this up to in the moment panic? I don't even know if I want to hear him out. Relevant comments. Commenter. If it makes you feel better, that dog would have been considered dangerous and put down either way. You defended yourself and the children from an unprovoked attack. You were so courageous and saved the kids' lives. Be proud of yourself. OP. I know that consciously, I think, but thank you for saying that because I just feel so terrible. Commenter. Downvoted. He absolutely might do it again. Would you feel differently if he told you that he was bitten by a dog when he was small and he just couldn't stop himself from running away? I'm not trying to excuse him. People have flaws, and you have to decide if you can tolerate them or not. OP. No. I wouldn't really, seeing as I was attacked pretty badly by a dog when I was young, 10 to 11. I still have scars on my thigh. I still like dogs, and I would like to think I still reacted appropriately in the situation. Those kids could have died. I could barely stomach explaining his niece's injuries to his sister. I was bawling, apologizing that I didn't do more. I can't imagine if something worse has happened. To a longer comment. We used to camp. I had trusted that he would be able to react appropriately. Also, he doesn't have any childhood incidents regarding animals that I know of. I actually do. I was attacked by a German Shepherd pretty badly, but I still like dogs. Commenter. Downvoted. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Everyone reacts differently to threat/stress. In the middle of a crisis, some people panic and cannot follow instruction or even hear instruction. They're just in flight or freeze. These reactions aren't really something we can control. I mean, You don't even like kids and your instinct was to protect and fight. I talked to him about it. Opie, I'm trying to. I keep telling myself to try and then I see him, and I remember him freaking running. I don't know if I want to be with someone whose reaction is flight at all, even if I comes naturally. One more thought from Opie. If his niece and nephew had died, I just don't think anyone would give a damn about his instincts. That the thing. Because they could have. Why should he have to protect you? Would you protect him? I expect us to protect each other, I guess is what I mean. I didn't expect him to take one for the team. I expected him to have my back. Update post, July 5th, 2024, 2 days later. My friend said that people update often, but I don't know how to attach it to the other post. I thought I'd update since there had been a few things that happened kinda. Sorry if this is needlessly long. And I didn't expect this to get this many comments and kindnesses. And I want to say I'm so sorry to everyone that has experienced anything similar, because, my God, it has not been easy. For everyone worried about my mental health, I did get in through an app with my work yesterday, because I decided I really needed it, and labeled it high priority. However, it felt like it was just a parliamentary meeting, and she said she wanted to get me to feeling a bit more comfortable, because I was visibly tensing up whenever I started talking about it, and she even noticed it through the video chat. Last night, also I told my husband I needed space. I apologize that I don't have more of an update on our relationship than that. I wasn't as nice as I wanted to be, he argued, and didn't want to leave. It's my house. But I told him I just didn't want to look at him, that I couldn't look at him. He cried, and I hate that I felt apathetic towards it. I haven't slept well, so I'm not sure. I'm also just overtired and still so shaken though. I was also emotionally exhausted after the appointment, so that might have added to it. I got a few questions about his sister and her husband, so I thought I'd answer. They aren't speaking with him. I don't know when it happened. I was definitely out of it at the hospital while I was getting the stitches and everything, but I do think after I was done blubbering and trying to explain how something so terrible happened to their little girl under our watch, they apparently asked him where he was. I still haven't talked to him about where he went, so I don't know. However, it clearly didn't satisfy them. His niece just got out of the hospital yesterday, so that really triggered everything and a lot happened. I had sent flowers and a bear, and this one toy thing she'd been asking about. I didn't go to the hospital though. I was scared seeing me would make her nervous. But his sister and her husband sent me flowers too, and it made me bawl again. I'm just a freaking mess, honestly. The father sent me a long message that I haven't been able to get through, but it's the sweetest things anyone's ever sent to me. He also sent me a 1K Visa card. I literally thought I was reading the amount wrong. They are good people, and I still feel terrible I couldn't have done more for her. Everything's just replaying in my head. Anyway, I obviously haven't looked into filing yet, but I am not against the idea of it, and it really did help me feel better about wanting a divorce over this. I know fight or flight can't be helped, but now I think I realize that it's okay not to want to be with someone who would leave you behind. I think I can say I'm a fighter, and I want a fighter with me. Maybe he'd be better off with a runner instead too. Then he at least wouldn't be leaving someone behind. I don't know. It feels like I'm done, but I'm also just a mess, so right now I'm just glad I have space. Thank you for everyone making me feel like I wasn't being ridiculous, though I think it always feels like it should be multiple issues that tear a marriage apart, unless it's infidelity or something. And it's like I know he may not have meant to betray me, but he still did. Whatever his reasoning. Not sure when I'll be speaking to him, but I will try to update then. Relevant comments. Commenter. I'm so sorry you went through such a horrible experience. It sounds like the parents are thankful you protected their children at risk of your own safety. I know I'd never be able to repay you if they were my kids you protected. I'm glad you have gotten the therapy ball rolling. I wish you and your niece a speedy recovery. That little girl is always going to know how you saved her, and I'm sure you'll always be her aunt, regardless of whether you stay in your marriage or not. I'm so proud of you. OP. They're good people. His message was really soothing to read, because I still feel guilty about how badly hurt So was from that initial bite. But she's home now, and I'm glad. I don't know about how it works with children in therapy because she's so young, but I hope they get her some. Commenter. Downvoted. I read the original post and I understand you. The man doesn't have a masculine bone in his body. Doubt he will ever be a protector. You are in a tough spot and hopefully things get better. OP. I don't need him to be a protector, just to have my back, which I though he did, but now I don't believe he would do that anymore. OP's support system. I have a decent support system, though my family aren't close by. They've been messaging and video chatting me a lot. Hours-long group chats. I think my mom has been trying not to give too much of her opinion on my relationship though. She was more concentrating on making sure I knew how to clean my wound and finding counseling, etc. She's a former nurse. Comment on the update from you/will say anything. He argued and didn't want to leave. Of course he didn't. There are dogs outside.